Welcome to our coverage of the Queensland Cup. Today from Bishop Park, the North Devils are at home to the Central Comets. And it's a pretty windy old day at Bishop Park as well today, but it's an interesting game because the Comets did fairly well last year. They're built up again for this year. And of course, Norths have been through a bit of a transition coming into this season as well. But before we look at this game, let's look at last weekend's results, the opening round of the Queensland Cup. And in our TV game, East Coast ended up big winners over Ipswich, but the game was much closer than that score indicates. South winners over West. Central Queensland beat Logan. The young guns from North Queensland had a good start, beating Toowoomba. Burleigh beat Redcliffe, and North's comfortable winners over Wynnum. David Wright with us once more. And David, Norths, after last year, perhaps a little bit disappointing towards the end of the season. What will they do this year?
Well, Jerry, you're right. I think they would be disappointed with their performances last year, but they had plenty of excuses, not that they'd go looking for them. Very disruptive year for Norths. When you have a look at it, you expect if you're the feeder club for a senior club like Melbourne Storm, you're going to expect some player movement, but they actually had a coach movement, if you recall, and of course Mark Murray, congratulations to him. He went down to coach the Melbourne Storm. Terry Madison came across from the Broncos, who were undefeated, or the Broncos reserve grade side, undefeated at the time, and Madison had to settle in as well. He's back for his second year this year, and that'll certainly, I think, improve their performances. They've got a very young side, a bit of a changing in the guard. Captain Wade Fenton is in the young crew. He probably adds about a year to the average age of the side, but he'll play a big part this afternoon. One player that's missing, though, it'll be interesting to see how they go without him, and that's Kevin Carmichael, who was their best player last year. He's retired to coach now the reserve grade here at North, and good luck to Kevy in his career in coaching. I'm sure he'll do a very good job. Be interesting to see how the Comets go with new coach Gary Larson.
Yes, it will indeed. Dave, a former State of Origin player, and of course Terry Madison was for New South Wales as well, Warren, and he's coaching North now.
Yeah, it's great to see players of that ilk in the coaching game, but Gary Larson admits that he is quite green as a coach, and he's inherited what really is a patched-up forward pack to me. They seem to have lost some of their strength. It'll be interesting to see who can take the place of those big names who are gone from last year's team. One key player will be Ian Doonerman, the lock forward and captain. Some exciting backs, though. Wade Rothery at fullback. Terry Benson, a former Norths player, playing at 5'8" for the Comets today. It'll be interesting to see how he goes against his old teammates. And I'll be also looking at the progress of the winger, Namila Davui on the wing, a very exciting player. But I think this wind is going to play a big part in the deciding of this game.
And Bishop Park looks pretty good too, but the breeze, as Warren was saying, is going to be important as the North Devils, the home team, come out onto the field.
Led out by muscle man Wade Fenton, big man Fenton. He'll have an important part to play today with this rather young side he's leading now. And as I say, it is a bit of a changing of the guard for Norths, and there's some very good young players they'll be looking to excel here this afternoon and to further their careers. Peter Reddy is at fullback, Gould and Slater on the wings, Webston and Futuria in the centres. Young fella Cronk, he's got a big rap on him, Cooper Cronk, only a young guy. Marty Turner on at halfback, and Reynolson, who is the ex-Bronco, Smith and Fenton up front, McKeough, Johnson and Glenn Turner at the back. It's a pretty handy interchange bench. The coach is Terry Madison, and they're at home today, and it looks like they've won the toss and decided to run into the wind, which is an interesting decision.
Ian Doonerman leading up the Central Comets. What a terrific player Ian Doonerman has been over the years, playing at the very top level, and of course played with the Gold Coast for a while in the National Rugby League competition, and he's played with a couple of clubs and now at the Central Coast, at the Central Queensland Comets. And here's the lineup, led by Doonerman. Wade Rothery, as Warren was saying, a very exciting player at fullback. Dean Rothery and Namila Davui on the wings, so they've got lots of speed. Barsley and Goodwin there in the centres. Terry Benson and Mark Fickling the halves. And then up front, Rex Gamble, Walson, Carlos and Josh Dillon, with Chris Hooper and Brad Thompson in the second row, and Doonerman locking the scrum. And their interchange bench, Johnson, Griffin, Tonga and Cheffers. And of course the coach, Gary Larson. Great character, Gary Larson. He was a really dedicated footballer as a player, and if he's able to transfer the enthusiasm for the game into his players, well then this will be a very difficult team to beat.
Interesting history there, Jerry, of how he got that coaching job with Dean Pay originally appointed, and he's been taken down, I think, was it to the Roosters?
Yes, that's right.
And then Gary Larson stepped into the breach and is looking forward to his life after playing career, and he's even talking about a possibility of making a comeback. Who knows, depending on how his side goes.
Lovely, isn't it?
Referee this afternoon is Rob Alexander. He's had a bet on the Golden Slipper, and he'll have to wait until after the game for the
Stay
result.
behind the line, fellas. Stay behind the line.
Doesn't waste time, the game underway, so that the Comets will get the first taste of the ball. Taken back there by Mark Fickling and offloaded, and a good strong run too by Josh Dillon. Not a huge man, Josh Dillon, playing in the front row, but he looks still fairly solid and very determined with that first up run. Now the other big man taking it forward is Rex Gamble, out across their 20-metre line.
Right here.
The Comets will just use the forwards to start with, and then Doonerman is trapped there. So good defence from North. They moved up very quickly. Doonerman might have been looking for a kick perhaps, and now Fickling with the kick across field, taken comfortably down there by Tony Gould. Unusual to see a Tony Gould who's not Tony Gould. Of course he is Tony Gould in his own right. It's just that Tony Gould has been such an outstanding player in the Queensland Cup for Redcliffe.
And Jerry, an absolute gift there for Gould. There is a howling gale at the back of the Comets, and they were flat out getting it to 40 metres from North's try line, and in the event it landed on the full straight to Gould. Not good enough.
And speaking of a howling gale, it's right in Warren Boland's face.
It is, Jerry, very strong from that right-hand corner towards us, and not enough, as David said. Oh, here's a break by North.
And a great run too by Dallas Johnson. Tackled only just short of the line. Can they finish this off now? They might go to the short side. No, instead it goes to the open. Marty Turner. Well, well picked up there by Josh Dillon to get the Comets out of trouble.
Pretty fortunate there for the Comets. That kick by Turner really needed to be along the ground. Didn't want it up around waist high, and that allowed Dillon to take it on the full and diffuse the situation, and it was pretty dangerous there for a while, with Norse looking particularly good as they players in motion. Now the Comets to try and get their way out of their own territory through Rex Gamble. Fifth and last, so they've waited for the last tackle before they get the kick away again. They're going to run it. I can't believe it with this strong wind blowing. This is just crazy football for mine. Unbelievable. They've just sacrificed 50 metres by deciding not to kick with the wind.
Have a quick look.
Well, Warren, I know you've got some thoughts about use of wind, and you mentioned the importance of it. At the end of the day, it doesn't win the game for you, does it?
No, you still got to get that ball up and use it to get distance, and they're playing the game in their own half, which isn't smart from the Comets. Mind you, Mark Fickling, the halfback there, thought they had the overlap, with North dropping back on the sideline there with the winger, and thought he might be able to get around them. The rest of his teammates weren't really thinking the same way, though. That's the trouble.
I think we've seen some of our best 40-20s kicked on this ground because of that wind.
Pull the ball out.
Too
long in there as well.
A great opportunity for the Comets to make use of it, but instead they've surrendered another penalty. Let's have a look at it now. There's the stripping of the ball. North's back on the inside. This time Marty Turner throws the dummy, goes himself. They look dangerous, North. They look sharp at the moment, but they're being allowed to put all the pressure on. Pass up this time to Glenn Turner. That's only the third tackle. The Devils have fancied their chances here. Throws the dummy, does Cooper Cronk, I think that was.
Line up again, Rick.
The dummy half goes Smith. Poor pass bounces up to Turner. Another poor pass, but picked up beautifully by Couturier. That's the fifth tackle, so pretty good work here from the Comets, but they're going to have to defuse this one last bomb. Awkward kick it is too. The number 2's up for it. Taken on the full very nicely there by Dean Rothery. But at the end of the day, I think Tony Gould mistimed his jump anyway.
As Tony Gould just lost his way a little there as the ball kept swinging away further and further, and in the end it was Rothery who was camped underneath it. Dean Rothery is the brother of Wade Rothery, both Rockhampton products originally, but Dean Rothery's been down the Gold Coast with Tugan in the last couple of years.
And he showed real patience there too, Dean Rothery. He wasn't concerned about the fact that Tony Gould was going for it. He decided to just stay underneath the ball, and Gould not quite reading it correctly. That's a good tackle there too, coming up from Kirk Reynolds, stopping them on that line. Rex Gamble, good powerful run for the Comets. So now the Comets are in North territory without kicking the ball, and here comes the kick from Doonerman now, and it rolls into touch only about 12 metres out. So finally they get down inside the 20-metre line of the North Devils, but of course it'll be the North Devils' feed.
Little punchy kick to get there as well, flirting a bit with the touch line, but they got what they were after, and that's a restart with a scrum. North's loose head and feet, of course, so they'll win it, or they should. The Broncos thought they'd win that last scrum last night too,
nice
but
and
it's
steady.
not
Save your
100%
energy here, fellas.
certainty.
Save the energy. In you go.
They will rue. That's good.
And David, you pointed out that North decided to run into the wind, having won the toss, and or in fact, no, it must have been the Comets won the toss, didn't they? Because they chose an end. North's kicked off.
Well, that's true.
So going with the wind, because it is always the debate, do you take it straight away, or do you hope that it'll still be with you in the second half?
Dallas Johnson has taken them just 12 metres short of the halfway. This is Glenn Turner.
What were your thoughts there, Warren, on taking the win first half or second?
If the Weather Bureau can guarantee it'll still be blowing in the second half, I'd run into it in the first, but you can never get that guarantee.
Let go of his foot.
Kirk Reynolds is having a good game here. That was a good strong run, and we saw him come up with a good tackle, and now he's earned the penalty for North.
Late in the tackle count too, so the Comets are not playing smart football at the moment as they allow the Devils to play most of the attack football. Wade Fenton straight at them. Fenton's a big strong man, bumps out of one, almost to the try line, but just pushed back by 4 players in the end, needed to stop him. Smith at dummy half, got players coming in the blinds, and got himself straight in and underneath beside the play the ball, and North finally gets some points for all the attack play they've had, and they get it so easy with a pretty sharp play from the dummy half in Cameron Smith after Fenton did a great surge off the tap.
Yeah, you put it down to the 2 big front rowers. A good run by Kirk Reynolds, and they rewarded the penalty. Fenton surging towards the line, looked like he might try himself, and then it was simple for Cameron Smith going into dummy half and just deciding to go himself right alongside the ruck and come up with his first try of the season.
At the moment, sorry Jerry, here he goes diving over, pretty easy try to go beside players there. Bit of frustration from the Comets as they look at one another and wonder why. Here's Fenton, look at that good buffer run there by Wade Fenton. Almost gets there himself. 4 players there to make the tackle. You'd reckon they'd stack themselves around to play the ball if they've all just made the tackle. They had enough there. Little dummy there by Cameron Smith to the right, and he went down the left to play the ball.
It was a good dummy, wasn't it?
My word.
He's fooled a few players.
He sold it all right. But you'd think Norths were the team playing with the wind at the moment. The Comets have had little time in North's territory, and I think they do well to kick early in the tackle count, just get it down the other end and cause Norths to do a bit of hard work instead of making it easy for them at this end of the park.
Barty Turner with the conversion, and he's kicked it well right between the posts. 6 points to 0 in favour of the Devils.
Strong work in the lead up there from North. Wade Fenton with a powerhouse run really put them on the front foot, and then even though they had the players there at marker, the Comets, they just weren't able to take care of the slippery hooker Smith. There's that great run from Fenton, but he took a bit of sting out of the defence. They mark up there, and it looks like it could be Wade Rothery, the fullback, but certainly one of the players there just outsmarted by Cameron Smith.
In the end, there was a big gap there, and Cameron Smith obviously saw that, and the dummy just made it that little bit easier for him to get through there. Now, Wade Fenton, after that good strong run, this time meeting a very solid wall of defence.
At the end of last season, Wade Fenton was injured, and he was missing from North as they went into the semi-finals, and they really got bundled out pretty quickly with a couple of big scores at the end of last season. But Fenton looks strong today.
North are within 10 metres now of the halfway mark. Barty Turner, Kirk Reynolds running at an angle.
It's a great signing too, Kirk Reynoldsson from Toowoomba, to have Fenton and Reynoldsson in the front row. That's great for North.
Certainly is. It gives them a real power forward pack, and well, desperate work there by Wade Rothery, but couldn't quite keep it alive, just going into touch.
By Comets.
Very strong breeze coming from the top right of your screens. So North's kicking across that breeze, and Wade Rothery trying to keep it in the field of play. Put his foot on the touchline and trying to. He also did a bit of a fumble himself, so it was a little bit untidy.
I think the fumble though might have been off his legs, Dave, so it wouldn't have been a knock.
Okay, nice and steady. In we go.
Now
In we go, Marty.
with another chance to go straight on the attack, 10 metres out, down a blind side up there to Marty Turner. Beautiful pass, too easy, out there to Tony Gould. Beautiful little scrum-based move. We saw a good one last week put on by the Tigers, and this time they use 3 players. Lock forward picks it up, half-back moves away from the base of the scrum to create a bit of extra move, puts doubt in the mind of the opposing winger, and they did it to perfection. Tony Gould unmarked.
Yeah, I think Dean Rothery felt he had to go in there, but as soon as he did, it created the overlap. There's the run, and by Glenn Turner out to Marty Turner, and Tony Gould over in the corner, and of course Dean Rothery trying to cover 2 men at once, going for the first one, and it's too late by the time he get to the second. Tony Gould over for his first try, so we will get used to having a second Tony Gould in the Queensland Cup competition, and he looks like he likes scoring those tries as well. Marty Turner doing well, and you could see just a moment ago there how Dean Rothery came in and did indeed effectively get Marty Turner, but it was too late because the pass was gone, and by that stage Gould was on his own, nobody in front of him.
What should happen there in defence is the blindside second rower must break quickly. You know chances are you're not going to win the scrum. You must break quickly and cover any breaking lock forward like that to allow your halfback to stay with his man, to allow your winger to stay with his man. That didn't happen. The end result, 4 points for the Devils, as Turner just can't hook it back. Might have even hit the upright, I think.
It did.
And a great attempt almost into the teeth of the breeze. Still Norths with a very good lead of 10-0.
Golden opportunity for Norths with that scrum feed, just 25 out, and worked it well, didn't they? Found the Comets short on that side, quick hands, and unable to stop Tony Gould.
This kickoff's interesting. It was with the wind behind it. I thought it might have kept on going on the full, but Tony Gould again after scoring the try. An interesting player. He looks to have considerable ability indeed. So just across the 30-metre line now. Reynoldsson, rather that was Turner, that was Reynoldsson with the one-handed pass away, but put down and dived on there by Rex Gamble. So now the Comets 40 metres out. What can they do from here? Up to the 30-metre. Gamble again. Can he offload? Yes, he can. Well done to Carlos. And now they've got the support players out wide, but that's not a good pass from Terry Benson. Ball going to ground, but still grabbed out wide. So inside the 20, where it's played there by Debui. Gamble was the dummy runner, and Carlos taking the tackle. Doesn't seem to be a lot of organisation in the Comets team at this stage, but maybe there's a chance here. They've got a few numbers out wide there too as Barsley made the break. So Barsley playing at 8 metres out from the line. Duneman offloading the pass now to Gamble. Or Josh Dillon rather. That's the 5th tackle. Duneman, Benson.
Lost it. Come forward out of there. Terry's pass went forward.
Knock on will be played.
So we've got to change over.
At least the Comets have put some attacking play together and have gone pretty close. There Benson trying to flick that pass back. But flicked on to an opponent and then to ground.
Second time they've come a little bit unstuck on the 6th tackle, which you could hardly be critical there. If you're going at the try line and you happen to not be able to get away with the play, that's okay. The previous time they were 60 metres away from the try line and got tackled. Beautiful break here from North now as they get their way out of their own territory so easily. The middle of the ruck from the Comets is not anywhere near as tight as what it needs to be. Marty Turner's almost played an Alan Langer game out there. The number of touches he's had. Webster tries to come back on the inside and gets it almost up to the halfway line. Turner again. No, it wasn't. That time it was Cooper Cronk. He turned it back on the inside. This time Smith a dummy half up to Turner. Just going to go for a pocket play, and this should sit for him too, I think. As Wade Rodri, will he have to play it? Yes. Beautiful kick that from Turner. Anytime you can put a fullback back that far and cause him to run it out, he's going to have difficulty. And when you've got a welcoming committee like that as well, one of the North players with a bit of a head knock there, and that's Marty Turner. He's involved in everything, that Marty Turner. Very active player. In the middle of Debui, big rap on Debui. We saw him last year, and pretty versatile too. Played in the centres, I think, for a fair bit of couple of matches last year, and looked pretty impressive.
That's
this time with the breeze.
Fickling's kick.
The idea was right, but down the fullback's throat.
So Peter Reddy has a bit of room here, and he runs straight at Gamble. He was able to break that tackle, but it didn't go much further. So 12 short of the halfway. Racing in to be a dummy half, Tony Gould. Obviously keen to be involved in the game as well. 2 tackles gone. They're 5 from the halfway. The big men will continue doing the work. Reynoldsson offloading that pass, but he's on the ground.
North's players claiming for a restart of the tackle count. The referee adjudicating that was in the action of making the tackle that the ball was possibly touched.
It was Glenn Turner, actually. Here's Reynoldsson now taking it into the Comets territory, but Turner's up, at least on his haunches, and is going to continue in the game. Cameron Smith deciding to kick. Picked the gap pretty nicely, but Rothery will have plenty of time. So Wade Rothery going fairly close to the touchline there, and followed right across too. That's Tabui.
I'd be kicking early on the tackle count. There's 70 metres to be made here with a good kick.
Fullback is back, Peter Reddy, so he's ready for it. Dieneman. Well, Dieneman deciding to keep it through the hands, and Chris Hooper. Now about 8 metres short. I think that's up to tackle number 4, so will we see a kick soon? Instead taken forward by Josh Dillon, and that's the 5th. So they're past the 40, and Dieneman might get a rebound off a North player, so they'll get the scrum feed. But certainly wasn't using the wind, but an effective kick in the end anyway, because the Comets will have the scrum feed about 12 metres in North territory.
Comment there that Gould tried to play at that ball, and therefore it is adjudged a touch, and therefore into touch from Norths. And the Comets will get the benefit of that, loose head and feed. And a few chances
waste your energy in here, fellas.
had to go on the attack. Fickling puts it in, wraps around the base of the scrum. Ex-Broncos Colt is young Mark Fickling. Strong run, this one straight up the middle by Brad Thompson. Good run, puts plenty of momentum in the attack. Comets again. That's Goodwin out there. It's time to Dieneman. 4th tackle. They've got inside the 10. Shepherds plays the ball. Dieneman again. Nice pass this one. Flicked out the back door. That's going to go back to the Devils, I think. But an offside play. Touched by Norths.
Touched by a North player in here. You probably didn't see that. And you were offside all the time. So, yeah, no. You grabbed the ball. Not accidental.
Here it is now. The ball gets flicked out the back. Touched there by Norths. And the player in front of him was Gould. Correct decision. Another chance now for the Comets to go straight back on the attack. Big fella Stu Shepherds gets it again up to about 8 metres. If the Comets are going to be any chance at all, they've got to score this passage. Plenty of time to go, but they really do need to assert themselves. Chancey pass out the back. Picked up there by Barnsley. He's been dangerous each time he's touched the ball. They don't need to go panicking, only on the 2nd tackle. Carlos runs out of dummy half, turns it back on the inside to Wade Rothery. Good wall of defence there, but Wade Rothery dances around. Can't get through though. 3rd tackle, they've gone nowhere. They're still 8 metres away. Barnsley dashes down the blind side. Good defence though by, I think, Dallas Johnson. Very alert at the marker position. This time out to Dieneman, lets a couple go. There's chances out wide here. They've got it out on the outside to Goodwin. He got it down. Nice work, Goodwin, as he was going backwards across the try line. Look back, you could see him there on that camera angle. And we're going to go to the video referee to be 100% sure.
Eddie, can you just check the grounding
nice
there?
work on the inside by Dieneman. Let's have a look at it as Goodwin. He gets spun around, and you can see him looking for the try line and gets it down nice and cleanly. Touch judge could well have been unsighted by that player between he and the touch line, and the Comets get their first points.
Wes Goodwin coming up with the try. It was almost an accidental pass to him, and the ball suddenly landed in his chest. As we see it again, they spread it across field fairly quickly. That's Fickling. Good pass from Fickling to Dieneman, and he had a couple of dummy runners which gave him the chance. They committed the defence, and there it was almost lost by Brad Thompson, but it bounced out of his hands into Goodwin's hands, and Goodwin did well. He could see he was in a little bit of trouble, but leaning over the top of the defender to put the ball down for a fair try. Where's Goodwin? And that's exactly what the Comets needed, because the game was just slipping it back a little bit from them. We've been critical of the fact that they haven't been using the kick, but they've scored a try now and they have been up there before, so they just want to use the ball. Conversion attempt by Wilson Carlos is no good. So the score remains 10-4 in favour of North.
With the ball and a penalty to boot in the last couple of minutes, the Comets have looked quite good, particularly out in the backs. They've made a few half breaks and look to have a bit of speed there too. This is good work on the inside. Durnaman holds it up. A couple of decoys go through. That means the defence is held on the inside, and they had just enough room out there, with a bit of luck, admittedly, as the ball came from Thompson to Goodwin, but he gets it down, and that'll give the Comets a lot of heart. They need points in this first half with the win.
I wonder just how much the win might be worth. If you play well, as Stu Sheffers takes it forward, there's no reason why it should be a total advantage. So 10-4 in favour of North. We're midway through this first half. Sheffers hit high there.
Number 11.
No doubt
Number 11,
Sheffers coming in. There was another player already in the tackle, and
Trent McKeo's the man who's been called
I
out.
want you to keep it down. I'm going to put it on report. Okay, we'll just have another look at that one.
going on report, so the video judiciary can have a look at it. I think it probably hit around the chest and forearm area and bounced. Oh, terrible work here from the Comets. They are really self-destructing. First pass from that particular play. Yeah, they didn't even try and find touch there, did they? They elected to take a tap from 22 metres out from their own try line with a goal at their back.
And the irony was that Trent McKeo was the one who ended up with the ball, and he was the one who was penalised. In the end, it was the Comets who'd been penalised.
Number 9, come over.
Well, they're going to get a reprieve
Come
here.
over, mate, come over, come over.
Cameron Smith here is in a bit spot of bother. See
Mate,
what
I spoke to you there before. I thought it would have got through to you, that I'm finding some of your antics around the play of the ball a bit objectionable. All I want you to do is to make your tackle, get off, and get back. Okay, everyone else in your team's doing it very well. So can you do it as well?
It's fairly clear. Some of your antics around the play of the ball are rather objectionable. From school teacher Rob Alexander. And he was right, and he's going to tidy up that area. I tell you, they haven't got a good kicking game, these guys.
Right, push it back 10. I've got it.
Now the Comets, who
Nice and flat.
who've had a lot of ball in the last 5 minutes. 8 out of 10 for North and 7 from 9 for the Comets. So not too bad. They've certainly dominated possession in the last 5 minutes. And they need to be down this end of the park to really make it count. Steve Sheffers, the pass off Durnaman. Durnaman at dummy half. Carlos up this time to Griffin. It's the 4th tackle, and they've got it to the 30. Carlos at dummy half decides to come down a blindside. Terrible pass again out of there. Picked up on the bounce by Dean Rothery. He's going to go across field, but he's going to get caught for his trouble. And they've managed to lose 8 metres on that particular play. Durnaman, high ball. I think Rothery was offside, just in front of Durnaman. And he's run past the fullback. That'll be play on now. 6 to go. I thought he was inside the
Not gone here by
10.
North. Not gone here by North. No. Oh, no advantage. No advantage. He lost the ball.
No doubt. Peter Reddy, it went through Peter Reddy's fingertips, so it was knocked on there. But I thought Rothery was in front of the kicker and therefore would have been called offside when he got inside the 10.
Thing is, though, Dave, we've got to say there was a good kick from Ian Durnaman. It was high with the wind, and it was always going to be hard to take.
Very awkward in these conditions.
So now maybe the Comets can get there. Oh, geez, been impressive, Jason Barsley. And look how close he's gone to that line. Maybe this time, is there a way through? Well, maybe Wade Rothery can find it. Good defence from North. They're holding him out. Good quick play the ball. Now Ian Durnaman. Plenty of support players out there, but the defence is strong on Max Johnson. Durnaman in a dummy half. You probably heard the call. Dooney sent away to Griffin. Matthew Griffin taking the tackle. There you can see how close they are to the line. Wilson Carlos, the dummy half. Durnaman, the mastermind. And what has he been able to come up with? Very close to Stu Sheffers. Kept the line through Durnaman again. And Goodwin scores his 2nd try. Excellent work. The thing you've got to say about the Comets, they keep turning up.
What a busting effort there by Stu Cheffers. I thought he was going to get tackled after he got hit by two players as he hit the line off, I think, Doonerman. Let's have a look at it. Doonerman's pass here up to Benson. That's right, Benson turns it back inside there to Cheffers. Somehow or other flicks it out the back to Doonerman, pops it over the top there to Goodwin. They do play an exciting brand of football, the Comets, and just showing if they can get their share of possession, they're going to run some points in this side, as we expected from them. This is their forte, attack, and with the benefit of playing a bit of football down this end of the park, they've capitalised.
I've got to say, Dave, when we watch Cheffers here, that's an Artie Beetson pass, isn't it?
Beautiful work. That little one out the back and under the arm is not easy. And then Doonerman, who had offloaded to Benson. Benson did well to get through the line, turn it back to Cheffers. Doonerman then loops around the whole pack of those guys to get a little bit of crumbs, which was that flick pass. And then he was good enough to get it over a defender who tried to block that path. And Goodwin has now got back-to-back tries in almost the same spot.
How valuable is it when a front rower can go forward and commit about 3 people to a tackle? What advantage it gives you if you do get rid of the ball.
Oh, they're the most important people in the side, Jerry, those front rowers.
Conversion successful, and the scores are level at 10-all.
Can't argue with that. Haven't they had plenty of ball, though, the Comets? 3 penalties in a row. Then they got the extra 6 after North knocked on from the good Doonerman kick. And they really capitalised here. Benson back inside Cheffers, great play. Doonerman following. He was aware that they had the overlap out there, and Goodwin 2 against 1 finishes it off. They have looked dangerous with the ball, and you mentioned it for one, Jason Barsley in the centre. Every time he gets the ball, he seems to be able to shake off tacklers. Very determined runner.
Walson Carlosson kicking that goal brought up 100 points for the Comets, career points. So that'll be something to celebrate this afternoon, and what he'll be hoping is that they have a victory to make it a double celebration for him. There's Cheffers, the man whose offload played such a great contribution towards that try. Well, we just got word that kick was unsuccessful, so it's actually 10-8. Apologies there. So he's still got 2 more points to get to 100. I was celebrating too early for him.
This would have to be close to the most ordinary kicking game we've seen. They're really, I mean, he's got a lot of area to cover ready. He'd have his heart in his mouth every time the kick would be on, but instead it's generally coming straight to him.
And really, Ian Doonerman's just got to do better than that, hasn't he, David? Just say there's 25 metres to the right or to the left of the fullback, and he kicks it straight to him.
Yeah, no excuse for that. They've had plenty of time to set it up. A bit of scrappy play here is going to allow the Comets to get back on the attack. Wade Rothery, who we know is a extremely dangerous broken field runner, but he didn't get much chance there to break any line. DeVuey, very dangerous. Miller DeVuey, if he gets a bit of a chance. Oh, strong defence in the middle. And lined up, they can do some damage, these guys, getting in close. Nice little short pass, this one. Oh, he's just lost it, is Hooper.
No advantage.
On Chris Hooper,
knock on, sorry.
as he was trying to position the ball
over here,
to offload a pass.
There goes the North.
He just couldn't control, but the intent was there to try and get the ball in his hands so he could possibly pop it up. But that's a sad error for the Comets, who
to pop in?
have really been building some pressure.
He's right to pop in. Yep.
I mentioned before the game that the Comets have lost some big forwards. They lost Simon Busby, Anthony Seabold, Kerry Parada and Andrew Schick. All 4 of them got plenty of size and quite dynamic forwards. So they've had to be replaced. But Rex Gamble from Mackay's been with the Comets for a couple of seasons, but barely played a game. He's been injured most of that 2 years, so he gets his chance this year.
And he's been playing well, as has Josh Dillon. And of course, when you've got a big man like Cheffers coming on off the bench, they don't seem to have lost too much, Warren.
No, they've been pretty good so far. Now that they've settled down, if only they'd play it smarter. We keep harping on the poor use of the wind, but if they're playing a bit smarter, they could be well and truly on top on the scoreboard.
John Paul Cherry playing the ball. John Flint came up with a fantastic tackle a short time ago, so that he was Flint hard, 5 metres short of the halfway. Well, I'll get a penalty out of this. It was actually Dallas Johnson.
Take the hand off the ball.
Brad Thompson dropping that ball there.
Yeah, you can see he had a hand in there on the ball, so it's a foolish penalty to surrender, and North's now to go on the attack.
Guarded forward by Trent McKeough. So they're 32 metres out. Can the Devils strike back? It's been a while since they've been down there. Lovely pass from Reynoldsson, running onto it Johnson. 22 metres out now. Marty Turner linking up with Cronk, flipping the pass away to Reddy. Now only about 15 out from the line, using the short side now. Good run here too by Cooper Cronk. Very close to the line. The referee telling the Comets to get back behind the line. Good strong run here by Trent McKeough. Can he go all the way? So close. That's the fifth as well. Well, no decision to go for the dummy half run across. Trying to keep the ball alive there, Dallas Johnson, but it's been spilled. And so the Comets get a let off. They come up with possession. Davui, well, a bit dangerous throwing passes so close to your own line, but Johnson taking the ball well.
Well, North threw everything at the Comets there, and for one of the few times today when they've had their backs to the wall, the Comets were able to repel the Devils' attack, so that'll be a bit of a boost for them. But North's showing that if they get more than their fair share, they'll be just as dangerous. Now we're going to get a decent kick downfield. That's better. Good raking kick downfield, spiralling punt. Will it get another roll on? Yes. And now Reddy, all back there on his lonesome, has to bring it back. And a good defensive chase there from the Comets will cause North to struggle to get out of their own territory. Gould does the only thing he could, and that's take a run from dummy half. Another run from dummy half. This is a good one, though, to pick up another 10 metres. Got it up to about 45 metres out. Wade Fenton straightens it up, gets it up over the halfway line. That's the fourth tackle. Turner down this right-hand side throws the dummy because the defence had moved up quickly, would have blocked the path anyway. That is the fifth. Finally got the play the ball away. Smith tries a little chip over the top, can't regain though as Duneman races back to get it on the bounce. So, North trying an attacking kick on their six tackle play, and the Comets managing to defuse it.
You made the point there that Marty Turner held the pass back and took the tackle. There's plenty of players both in the Queensland Cup and at the NRL these days are throwing those passes anyway. It's just the way. You hit the line flat and you hit the attacking runner and hope that he goes through the other side, because these days runners know they're not going to get their heads knocked off as they once did.
Jason Barsley wasn't quite ready for that pass, and it was an awkward one, and he's put it down, and the Comets will have to hope that they don't pay for that. So the scrum going down about 33 metres out.
Just untidy play there by the Comets. When you have a flat line of attack like that, you've got to be quite precise.
Let's get that foot right. No.
Certainly weren't there.
Marty, this bloke is costing us here. I'm going to get him shifted or something.
I wonder if he's talking about Smith again there.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Marty Turner puts it in, runs out of the base of the scrum, does pretty well too, almost gets through the line. It'll allow a good wrapping play here from the Devils now as they get around the back of the scrum. Out this time to Futuria. Futuria, beautiful pass out there to Reddy, and Reddy scoots down the sideline. I think it's Peter Reddy, and that was oh so easy. From the base of the scrum, settling play initially by, I think, Cooper Cronk, and then a good wrapping effort again by Cronk. Quick hands through the pass of Futuria and out to Reddy, clear passage to the line.
This is good old-fashioned making the ball do the work as it went through the hands of the 5'8" Cooper Cronk on then to Futuria, and he had Peter Reddy chiming in the back line, and any fullback who does that is going to give you just that extra person and comes up with a try. Was a time when there'd be headlines of fullback scoring a try, but I suppose that's quite a few years ago now. But there you can see it's just good use of the football, good passing, good support play, and in the end you get the overlap and you earn the reward. In that case, a try to Peter Reddy. Peter Reddy's done a pretty good job at fullback, and he's been ready for the kick that might come from the Comets, but so far he hasn't been too bothered with that, although that I do recall one Ian Duneman put very high in the swirling wind, and that pressured him and maybe was found a little bit wanting there, but otherwise he's had an outstanding game and come up with an excellent try there. Marty Turner 1 from 2, and this will be a very tough kick because, as you can see, he's on the sideline, but he's got to deal with a very strong wind that's going to push the ball away from those goalposts. So he needed power. Seems to have kicked it okay, but not over the goalpost. So score 14-8 in favour of Norths.
Some clumsy handling from the Comets, handed the ball over, and tell you what, the North forwards are making plenty of ground too. They're getting through their sixes. They're setting up the platform for the backs, and look at them take advantage here. Lovely hands from Croc. Paturia hands it on to the fullback ready, coming in as Davui came in off his wing on the far side. Couldn't get to the inside man, Paturia. Couldn't cut it off, and that opened the door down the line.
Like they had just an absolute mental block on the need for a slide defence there. The Comets, as Warren said, winger there in Davui coming in, was it just had to be a slide situation and require players to come across, especially after the first play from the scrum. So they really didn't follow any slide defensive pattern there that may well have been able to combat that particular rapid play.
They were in trouble, David, with Norths attacking that side, but they really just let them through, didn't they? There was no combat from the defence at all.
They numbered off inside out, whereas these days with the slide defence, it's supposed to be outside in, and they just went up on any man who was the same distance off the ruck, and that's no good if you're going to try and even play any sort of slide defence. That kick was touched in flight, so Rothery had to hurry across to secure it. His brother Dean now gets it up over the 30. It'll absolutely be, well, big trouble if the Comets surrender possession down this end of the park again. They've got 5 minutes up to half-time. With the wind at the back, they would have been expecting a good performance in the first half, and more particularly a lead. They're not at this stage going to have that. In a very flat line, Doonerman, flat pass this time out there to Griffin. Griffin's been pretty fancy, back to Doonerman. They're going backwards here, and Barsley on the last tackle just hoiks it down, and Peter Reddy is getting catching practice at the back. Says thanks very much.
Yes, he scored that previous try, Peter Reddy, and was tackled just 12 short of the halfway. So again, not a good result to their 6 tackles for the Comets, but they might get the ball back here. They do. Doonerman, I think, has been able to dive on that loose ball. So they're in possession and already in North territory. Not a bad pass. Two out. A good one. Goodwin's been impressive, but he's lost the ball trying to get that one-handed pass away.
Well, on the first tackle, Goodwin hoping he could get a safe pass away. He was through the gap, just caught there, and well, thought about passing, tried to regather it himself, and basically
you can see what he was doing, Dave, that Davui was coming in, and it could have been a really impressive effort if he'd got it into his arms, but there were North players in the way.
North players in the way, and I think ultimately as he fell to ground, it probably dislodged from his arms. But first tackle with 4 minutes up to half-time, you just can't afford to surrender possession like that.
That's a feature of their game, the lack of patience, David, both with their handling early in the tackle count, but also with that kicking game. Sometimes you've just got to set your plan. We're going to kick, we're going to get the distance, and stick to it rather than throwing passes on the last tackles as well.
Kirk Reynoldsson has taken them now just 33 metres out from the line. Wade Fenton joining in, but there's nowhere for Dallas Johnson to go as far as he had nobody, or at least he couldn't find anybody to keep the ball going to, and in the end had to take the tackle. Here goes Marty Turner again, looking for chances. Cronk tackled on the 20-metre line. The Devils on the attack. Turner is going to put it high against the breeze. The breeze will hold it up. As a matter of fact, the breeze takes it backwards, but it's well taken by Webster. Change it over. Steady on.
The Comets took their chances there by not going for the ball. They wanted Norse to try and take it and possibly knock on, or if not, wrap him up. They were successful in wrapping up Webster. So they wouldn't want to surrender possession again so easily leading up to half-time.
And for all that we've been critical of the Comets versus the Devils, as the Comets make a break down the middle here, there's Walson backing up. The score 14-8, there's only a try in it.
Only 6 points in it. As, again, they show that they're very dangerous in attack, the Comets. Benson to play it. Doonerman very close to the play the ball, decides to go back the other way. There's Goodwin, he's looked pretty good. Where's Goodwin? Scored 2 tries, 5th and last. High ball's the order of the day here. Anything can happen. Has it gone too far though? It's going to come down well and truly. over the dead ball line, hit the fence, and any chance they had to put some real pressure on. This has been a inept kicking display from the Comets, and for that reason they haven't really capitalised at all on this very strong wind in the second half. I'll bet you North do.
Well, one thing that Comets have to be careful of is in this minute or so that's left in this first half that North don't score and get more than a converted try in front of them, because they'll have the breeze in the second half and they might make better use of it. Marty Turner with the offload there to Jake Webster. 35 out. JP Cherry. Turner. Wade Fent. Nice offload to JP Cherry again.
Hold on. Hold on. Somebody needs urgent assistance. 5 and last.
Now, there's a player down, and I was wondering just why Rob Alexander was stopping play, but there's a Comets player down right in the background. You can see him there now receiving attention. So just within a minute of half
What are we
time.
going to do? Okay.
Obviously a little bit of concern. I think it may be Chris Hooper. Or was it Brad Thompson?
He'd have to go off when we've stopped the game.
Brad Thompson it is.
Well, we can't stop the game and have the player continue, I wouldn't think.
It's a fair call by the ref here. If the trainer says that I need to stop the game here, you wouldn't expect he'd be able to get up and come straight back into the mats. Now, this is the 5th tackle. The second's up to half time. Last play, howling gale. Let's see if what Norths do. You'd have to think there's going to be a kick on the end of it somewhere.
5 and last.
So here goes North. Marty Turner's kick is there now. Pressure on the referees, but taken by Dean. Penalty to the Comets.
Yeah, Cooper Cronk
Couldn't call it quick
offside.
enough for you, mate, but you were off.
North's had plenty of time to set up that play because of the delay.
Right now, they're all on.
And the attempt by Marty Turner to hook it off the outside of his boot. Players didn't quite time
North,
their
look
run.
at 10, look at 10. I've got it here.
Now,
got it
surely
here.
the Comets, with only seconds up to half time, can give North a little bit of their own medicine. Oh! Talk about medicine, Josh Dillon.
Ball's gone down.
What a
Ball went
tackle
down. Get
on
another
Dillon.
Flint
Get
it was
another player,
again.
Josh.
He's come up with
Get
a
another
couple
player.
of really
As soon
tough
as you lose the
tackles.
ball, it hits another
There it
player
is,
to knock
John
on,
Flint.
even if you get it back.
He really is Flint hard, and that's half time. So the referee calling half time, and still just a converted try between the two teams. North will have the advantage of the breeze in the second half, but at half time it's 14-8 in favour of North over Central. We'll be back shortly with the highlights of that first half.
Tonight on Monarch of the Glen,
What do I need to know about Edith Rankin?
discovering a lost love.
Broke my heart, Hector Naismith MacDonald. Oh, come on now, steady on.
And the realization that there's no love lost at all between the new young gun and a wise old salt.
I know you prefer taking life rather than preserving it, so...
Listen, son, I've forgotten more about conservation than you've ever learned at your precious universities.
Oh, come on.
Monarch of the Glen, 7:30 tonight on ABC. Whatever your tourist status, here's an adventure for everyone.
I'm in Pushpa. It's an amazing place for travelers to visit any time of the year.
Take a global tour with the Lonely Planet pilot guides.
Ni hao, Daoje, and I'll make friends in Chinatown. I don't know what he's saying.
A new series that will take you on and off the beaten track.
This is one of the best souvenirs you can get here. Amber.
The Pilot Guide starts 6 o'clock Sunday on ABC. The program that gets everyone talking. 8 o'clock Monday.
Business is war.
Across Asia, a change is in place.
I want them to tell me the truth.
Business is blending traditional cultural practices with Western corporate models.
New companies, new money, and new status.
But to be successful, Flexibility and understanding is the key.
You know, let's think about it and get back to you after a few days. That is a no.
Reality Bites.
I play to win.
£1 for $1. 8 o'clock Tuesday on ABC.
(14-8) in favour of the Devils at half-time, 3 tries to 2. And Warren, I guess against the win, they'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, look, I'm sure they are, David. They've been the better structured team out there. They seem to be playing to more of a plan, and they're going about their work pretty well through some strong forward play, and then, as I say, finishing it off pretty well. With the one exception, when they've been down the Comets' end, I don't know they've always finished their sets inside the Comets' 20 all that well, with those short kicks have let them down. On the other hand, the Comets, well, they just haven't played a good game with the win. The kicking game was really poor, let's face it. Having said that, with a bit of ball, they threw it around, scored 2 good tries, and they're still in the game.
Yeah, they are, with only 6 points in it. But let's have a look at the early minutes of the game when Norths were getting it pretty easy at this stage. Wade Fenton, that big charging run, bumps away from a couple. Looked like for a moment he might have been able to score it himself, but just brought down short, and then young Smith drops into dummy half. Throws the dummy to the right-hand side, which just fools the defence for a moment. The defence stands instead of staying low, and he ducks across.
Yeah, good strong run here by Wade Fenton. He really took them on, shoves away from a couple, gets it all the way to the line. There's Wade Rothery, the fullback, one of the 3 involved in that tackle. It certainly took some sting out of them. Rothery gets back onto his feet on the right-hand side there, marks up but doesn't get down low. And then Cameron Smith throws the dummy, and you could almost say that through the dummy, used Fenton as a shepherd in a sense, but Rothery needed to stay down low, keep an eye on where the dummy half was going rather than just put his head up in the air.
Yeah,
and Smith was too smart.
Yeah, they certainly weren't strong enough near their try line there. Some people say, why have we got scrums in rugby league anymore? They're so predictable, and they are 99.9% of the time. But one of the reasons we've still got them is they are a great attacking platform to put a couple of little moves on, and this is the second time in a week we've seen a good scrum-based move. Glenn Turner to Marty Turner, out there to Gould on the wing, and it was good work from those 2 players at the base of the scrum to fool the Comets defence.
Yeah, you'll see the winger, Dean Rothery, goes in. There he is, tries to take out the centre, but through the quick hands of Marty Turner, Glenn Turner, onto Tony Gould, and he finishes it off. They'd been given that attacking position from the scrum when Wade Rothery, the fullback, touched a kick which was rolling towards the touchline. It really handed a try in an attacking position, a scrum in an attacking position to Norths.
Yeah, Norths are dangerous, like any good side when you're near the opponent's try line. It was basically 10-0 after 11 minutes at that stage, so things running North's way. Let's have a look at statistics as they went overall in the first half, just to see whether Norths were able to maintain that domination through statistics. You can see there that really not a great deal in the possession stakes. The Devils are slightly in front.
But it is an indication of the way the game's gone. North having the upper hand in possession, 54%. The Comets in their own half, 57%. Comets completion rate just 12 out of 18. That's not good enough. They were clumsy at times in their attacking work, and line breaks are favouring North 3-2.
Yeah, the Comets really didn't have a bit of a look in, or much of a look in, until about the 18th minute when they finally got it down this end of the park. They got back-to-back penalties. Doonerman's the key man in this. He's the one who gets the ball here. He's a very talented player. Lets 2 players go, fires the pass over the top. It goes through the hands of the number 12, pops out there to Goodwin, and Goodwin was able to get it around, keep an eye on the try line, and get it down as he was going across, going backwards at the time.
Yeah, through the hands here of Fickling, who's been pretty smart at half-back, given the opportunity. Doonerman holds it up. You can see the North defenders did their best to read it and keep on sliding, but the decoy runners just held them up long enough to give the opportunity on the outside there to Thompson, and Goodwin finishes it off. That was the first of 2 for him.
Yeah, he did come up with his second try only about 8 minutes later. Again, Doonerman, one of the key players, but this time big Stu Cheffers, who hits the line off a good short pass. He does a bit of damage, but Doonerman is the man who's calling the shots. He's wrapping around. Here he is again, Doonerman. Fires the pass out there to Benson, cuts back on the inside. I've been quite impressed with Benson. And then Cheffers, look at that little flick out the back. Doonerman looking for the crumbs, pops it over the top, gets it out there to Goodwin. He throws the dummy to score his second try.
Yeah, you mentioned Benson, Fickling and also Barsley. Those 3 in the backs alongside each other have been pretty good for the Comets, given some ball, and they had plenty of ball here. They had 3 penalties in a row. There was also a knock-on by North from a kick, a good Doonerman kick, one of the few. and they finish it off nicely. There it is. Sheffers, Durnaman and Goodwin putting it over the line.
Yeah, they just showed that even though they haven't used the wind well, they certainly can play some pretty good attacking football. So I'm interested to see how they go in the second half. Norths weren't finished though up to half time. There was a scrum packed about 20 metres out. They took one settler to midfield, and then good play this. Quick hands through the line. Futura out there to ready, and really the defence of the Comets had not slid at all. They totally misread it and allowed a saloon passage down the touchline.
Well, they just didn't have men on that side, and then they didn't slide, David. And you'll see Devui, he's looking at 3 men coming at him. He decides to go in on the first and leaves 2 on the outside, a saloon passage. Yeah, the defence really didn't number up at all well in the first place, and then they didn't slide at all after that.
No, they sure didn't. They'll have to do a little bit of running in the second half because there's a strong wind at the back of the Devils. They lead 14-8. I'm sure they'll use it in the second half.
Tonight, a unique and unpredictable expedition.
These sea lions take a breath of air and can stay down for 20 minutes.
Wonder and variety deep underwater in a sea full of surprises.
Because the Galapagos are so isolated, many families of fish are only represented by 1 or 2 species.
A relaxing and revealing sea trek. Richard Moorcroft goes wild, 6:30 tonight.
If you take any family and get them together and get them to stay up long enough, then the stories will come tumbling out.
Some things are better forgotten.
Don't go thinking you can put the pieces back together again.
Some things should stay in the past.
Too many memories this weekend.
When the floodgates open and there's no turning back.
I told you not to do this.
You found perfect strangers. 8:30 Sunday.
I believe in evil.
Furiously paced and intricately plotted, it reeks of authenticity.
May the best man win.
Do you want to rephrase that?
Groundbreaking.
50 quid each. Whoever gets the most lyrics from The Sound of Music into the trial wins the lot.
Edgy, energetic, and full of surprises. Find out what's impressing the critics. North Square, Wednesday.
Tonight, the immortal Larry Hagman.
Well, I've got a 35-year-old liver and a 70-year-old man.
The inspirational Cher.
I find men to be dessert. They're not necessary, but dessert is great. And I know a lot of women that would rather go straight to dessert.
Straight to your hips.
And Britain's wittiest raconteur, Stephen Fry.
You go buy yourself something real pretty now, you hear?
Parkinson for the young at heart, 9:30 tonight.
Welcome back to Bishop Park, half-time, and it's North 14 leading the Comets 8, and it's been an entertaining game so far. We wonder what the breeze might do for North in the second half. There are plenty of games happening around Queensland this weekend. Indeed, last night Toowoomba showed their class by beating East Coast 40-16. We thought East Coast looked pretty good last week, and if Toowoomba beat them, and of course last week the Young Guns beat Toowoomba. So it's South against the Young Guns, and that's this afternoon as well at 4 o'clock. Tonight at 6 o'clock out at Ipswich, they take on Redcliffe. And then tonight also at Pizzey Park, Burleigh against Wynnum. And tomorrow, the only game tomorrow at Meakin Park, where Logan meet West. So some good games coming up this weekend in the Queensland Cup. Teams back out on the field now. With the Comets will be kicking off. North will have the breeze. And we'll see if they attempt to use a kicking game more so than the Comets did when they had the win behind them in the first half.
Rightio, time you run.
Second half underway.
Bring it back.
And North taken by Marty Turner. Kirk Reynoldson going across field, but he was still able to skip away from them all. That's a good run by Kirk Reynoldson. Wade Fenton. There you go. The number 8 and the number 10 have one run each, and they're 5 metres from the halfway. And that's exactly, we were talking about how they are two good front rowers for North, and that proves exactly how effective they can be. Marty Turner holding it up, joining in the back line there, the fullback Peter Reddy. Oh, good change of direction here, and getting it out wide to Vituria. 32 metres out now, North. Billy Slater at dummy half. That's the 5th tackle. Turner will be hoping that breeze will hold the ball up a little bit. And comfortably taken by Rothery, Dean Rothery.
Hold it, don't take it, don't
so that
take
it'll be a tap start for the Comets on their 20-metre line.
There you go.
Just shows you just how hard it is to judge that breeze. I'm sure North thought they got their perfect kick away there, but it just sailed with the breeze into the in-goal area.
Good to welcome Gary Larson to the coaching ranks of the Queensland Cup, and he's on the sideline with Warren Boland.
Yes, congratulations, Gary, on taking up the role as coach. You're used to making 40 tackles a game. What's it like coaching, doing the brain work?
Mate, how nervous is it on the sideline?
Look, we were critical of the kicking game of the Comets in that first half with the win.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in it also. There seems to be a lot of calls out there, so I've been told, and they've just got to settle down and be a little bit more patient.
Is it Ian Doonerman's job to take over and direct play?
Well, yeah, that's Ian's good at that, and I'm relying on him heavily this half to do that.
With the ball, though, the Comets were promising. Once you've got a bit of ball, you seem to be moving around pretty well.
Yeah, I think we can match it with anyone when it comes to the attack. We've just got to be more patient and hold on to that bit.
What did you say to them at half-time? How to get their nose in front in this game?
He was on his way up and you pushed him over.
Just be patient and do all the little things right. And when we do that, we seem to go a lot better.
Defensively, a few lapses in your own 22.
Yeah. Got a few guys there that need to work on the lateral movement, and because it's a hot day too. But I know the boys are going well. I'm happy with what they're doing.
All right, Gary. Good luck for the season, and great to have you here.
Thanks, Warren. Thank you.
Gary Larson coaching the Comets, and good to see him there as well. So this scrum on the 30-metre line is a great attacking position for North State.
Certainly is. North tried that penalty, was just touched as it went over the sideline, which forced this scrum and feed. North's going towards the touchline, but Dangerous flicks it back on the inside, ball still alive. North's are in the corner, and he'll bring it around to improve the position as well. The Devils through Jake Webster. Right from the scrum. The irony here is, of course, they expected to get a tap from that penalty. Instead, a scrum. They went that right-hand side. Looked like they were going to get pushed toward the touchline, but managed to flick it back on the inside, and Webster does pretty well to carry it on.
Yeah, there goes the run by Jake Webster, and he slips the pass away here to Gould, or at least the pass going back inside there to Webster, and here's Gould coming back inside and is able to carry it away for his second try of the match. Tony Gould has been very impressive in this game.
He has looked good, and North had themselves in a spot of bother as they flirted with the touchline there, but managed to get it back on the inside and had enough backup support to make the most of it. Let's have another look at it. Cronk, dummy runner, out there to Futuria. Futuria looks like he's in trouble there, pops it up to Webster. He does well to flick it back on the inside in a bit of desperation. And Gould running a good angle. Big, powerful guy, Tony Gould too. Brings it around near the uprights to make it a little bit easier here for Marty Turner to add the extras and give the Devils what would be a very handy lead at this stage of the match. They could jump away to 28. As Turner with the breeze has no trouble adding the extras.
That's exactly what the Comets didn't need, Warren.
Bad start for the Comets, but on the other hand, North, that really gives them the impetus to keep on going here. Good football as they moved it wide and finally finished off here by Tony Gould. But Terry Madison is with me, the Devils coach. And Terry, your side looked the better structured of the two out there on the paddock in the first half.
Well, I thought we started off really well, but then a couple of things went against us. We, dropped a few balls, and they got a few sets of six back to back. And when you get 3 sets of six, it's just too hard to keep them out. And I wasn't too unhappy, going in 14-8 is a fairly big breeze here. So it's the first time we've got a try while I've been interviewed. I'm happy with that.
A lot of coaches complain about that. Now, no Kevin Carmichael out there on the field for North this year, and he was a key organiser for you for the last few seasons. Marty Turner, is it his job or other players involved in organising?
Yeah, it's probably Marty's job and a couple of the other guys. Wade Fenton's the captain this year, so I think his game and his go forward's been really good, and Kirk Reynoldsson coming in. But Marty had the off-season in Melbourne. I think it's done him the world of good. He was our best last week, and he's got to come out of the shell with Kevin not there.
And with this win behind you in the second half, what were your instructions?
Yeah, I'd want to play it down there, and you know, it'd be silly to try and play you know, fancy football up this end. So if we get down there and get a few repeat sets, you know, we'll fall over in the end.
Anything else you picked out that you wanted them to work on?
I just want us to get on the edge of the ruck. So I thought we tried to take them on up the middle too much. You know, when we won that battle early, I thought we should have just got them on the edge of the ruck. So hopefully we'll do a bit of that this half.
All right, Terry, all the best for the season.
Thanks, Warren.
Okay, Rex, organise your front foot.
Terry Madison, the coach of the North Devils.
Here we go. Step over, weight back, North.
A long way here for the Comets to go, but after surrendering that first try of the second half, they'll be pretty keen to come back. They're the interchanges. Well, both got plenty of interchanges left in the match, as you would expect. And now a change over here as Jake Webster grabbing that ball, and they're just 30 metres out from the line, so all of a sudden it turns around again for the Comets. And it's just going to be tougher and tougher running against that breeze as North work their way forward once again. 25 metres out now.
Walton,
the
come over
penalty's
here.
only going to help it.
No need to push him. I've got it under control.
Too much aggression in the tackle here.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Don't come back over the top when you make a tackle. Okay?
Coming over the top as I think a second effort. Oh, there it was. And that was totally unnecessary.
Yeah,
Lucky just to get away with a caution. Wade Fenton to settle one up. As the Devils go straight back on the attack. Too easy this for Smith. Too easy for Smith. That's his second try for Cameron Smith. I thought his first try was pretty easy. That was just the welcome mat was out there, and Cameron Smith just said thanks very much.
I'm sure that he just expected to run towards the try line and get stopped, or at least look for somebody outside. All of a sudden he could see the try line there, reached out and put it down. Cameron Smith gets his second try, and the Comets are now in trouble. I think you've got to say that. North are looking much too powerful, and the Comets, when they had the ball a short time ago, the mistake coming there, Cameron Smith just picking it up with the one hand. A pretty handy player, really. Very aggressive and attacking the line and coming up with the try.
Yeah, it was pretty neat the way he did that. As you say, Jerry, the one-handed pick-up, he went out of dummy half, threw a little bit of a dummy as well, and went himself. Sure, the defence was feeble, but he got it going with a pretty swift pick-up. And
Dave,
a little dummy gave him the opportunity.
If we go back in the lead-up to that match, a fantastic run by Kirk Reynolds out from his own line. And what a terrific buy he is for North. No longer with the Broncos organisation, but still a very good football.
Yeah, great buy, and obviously he would have aspirations to play a fair bit of football with Melbourne, and that's what a lot of these guys are hoping for. And Marty Turner, this man here, would be one of those, as Terry Madison said, spent the off-season training with Melbourne, and he's looked a lot sharper, or more sharper than I've seen him in previous years.
Well, Marty Turner scored 2 tries last week, so he's going on with the job today, but this time it's Cameron Smith out of dummy half. Look, he's got 12 or 13 metres. He steps up his right foot sharply and sends 2 of them going the wrong way and crashes over the line, and that is just very smart work by the hooker, who
okay,
looks as if he might have been a former halfback, as many of them are these days. He's had a few run-ins with the referee today, Cameron Smith, but he's got 2 tries. He's laughing.
Here goes Reynolds again, and another strong run, almost breaking through the defensive line. Solid defence that time. That's the 2 bookends for the Comets combining there to come up with the tackle. Gamble and Dillon. That kick was from Marty Turner. There was good pressure put on him that time, and that's what the Comets need to do more often. Wade Rothery getting close to the touchline. He'll need to be careful. Vituria was trying to drive him towards that touchline. The completion rates for these teams, North's 18 from 23 and Central 13 from 20. So North have had more possession and they've completed their sets much more effectively. No way through there for Dillon. Missed tackles have been important in this game too, and you can see that the Comets 8 more than North. It's a little too much for them. Bickley. The Comets have got into North territory. Now they need to finish it off. They need to keep on going, see if they can come up with a try. Good work to... No, I was going to say good work to keep that ball alive, but he just put his foot on the touchline. And so, again, that attack, that set of 6, comes to nothing for the Comets. They managed to get into North territory, and pretty quickly, more than likely, they're going to find themselves back in their own half.
Yeah, they don't really play a strong advantage line game, the Comets. They're not trying to get their big men running flat rucks. Yep. By that, it's meant taking the ball very flat at the dummy half. As Norths make a good break, that's been knocked down, so we'll repack the scrum.
Okay, nice and steady, nice and steady.
But they don't play a good
over here.
flat rucking game.
Feed to North.
And
feed to North.
On the other hand, North's defence has been particularly strong as well. And they black go forward, the Comets. You can have all the flair you like.
You're right, you're right.
But you've got to have a little bit of room to
put your head in
build. And they haven't been able to make that room.
It's out now.
Marty Turner, midfield scrum, always a good chance to go on the attack as Cooper Cronk sheds one.
Move out, move out.
Again, that was a good 10-metre play. Let's see North's flat rucking play. Nice flat ruck there to go forward. That gets you 8 metres. If you get a good quick play the ball, everything else flows from that. Another flat ruck from North. And that's how you go forward. No use passing the ball back or going too much lateral. Now you can do it after you've got a little bit of go forward play. Marty Turner turns it back on the inside nicely to Dallas Johnson. He's got some good support as well. Picked up there by Kirk Reynoldsson. So they've set the platform. Now they want to capitalise on it. Reynoldsson to play. They've got either side to work on. Long pass out this time. And North oh so close. Driven back. Some good defence there right on the try line. Just holding out Glenn Turner. Little grubber kick into the in-goal area would keep the pressure on. There it is. Dribbles it in. The defence quickly back. Good win, but he's not going to get offside.
Number 1.
Well, North did just about everything right there in terms of pattern of play.
Offside.
But they couldn't make sure they stayed back on side as Doonerman, Everett Alert does well to get it up 25 metres by immediately taking a tap, and against the wind that was a very good play.
And if only he'd seen Jason Barsley alongside him, he might have been able to advance it further. Brad Thompson, 8 from halfway, will play the ball. Terry Benson, now they're about 5 short of halfway.
In that last set from Norths where they did just about everything right in the forward on the chart, there was one great tackle from Josh Dillon who stopped Wade Fenton in his tracks. Norths were pouring through. Lots of players were missing tackles, but not Dillon. He hit Fenton with everything he had and stopped him.
Now they're in an attacking position, the Comets. Mark Fickling. Well, here's the kick, and it's being chased too by Barsley, but it's going across the dead ball line.
Come on side, North.
But you've got to say, at least the Comets got down there that time, and I think that's about the first time they've been down inside even the 30-metre mark of the Devils.
Yeah, it shows the importance of getting off on the right foot on a set of 6, and certainly Doonerman allowed them to do that. They were quite creative as they continued downfield, but the Fickling kick, I've got no doubt, was an afterthought, and because it didn't have that preparation, it went over the dead ball line, even against the wind. See how tidy Norths are now to get it up the field. Dummy half running is always a good way to go forward. Cameron Smith has had a good game, picks up another few extra metres. Turner. There to Glenn Turner, passes back to Reddy. It's gone backwards. That should be a Comets ball.
Comets have knocked it on.
No, I think that it might well have been knocked on, Dave, by Benson. Just seemed to get a hand to it. Be interesting to see the replay.
It's going off Reddy. Benson for it. Yep. Left hand, I think, just got a hand on it. Jerry, you're right. So he couldn't
get wiped off or whatever.
Couldn't get a hold of it.
I think it might be a
good refereeing by Rob Alexander.
The help of his touch judge, I would think, who are now, well, they've been for the last few years wide for sound, so
really I can't let
technology to get a better outcome.
North's lucky to get away with it, though. It wasn't a good pass, not a smart pass, always risky, and lucky to get away with that one.
Central knocked it on. Okay, hold steady.
Well, it gives North a good attacking position here.
In you go.
Turner feeds the scrum. And he will run with the ball himself, and you saw the fullback Reddy up there, especially as a dummy runner. Victoria playing the ball. They're going to keep it going on the right. Turner again involved, slipping it away this time to Billy Slater. 20 metres out from the line, Slater to play the ball. Webster in a dummy half. Kirk Reynoldsson, how far can he go this time? A lovely pass and a try to North again. Jake Webster goes over and finishes off. Beautiful work by Kirk Reynoldsson. Oh, he's having an outstanding game. The blonde-headed front rower for North Devils, and now they lead by 30 points to 8.
Great go-forward play here from the Devils as they just keep plunging up the middle of this ruck. Look at this good work from Reynoldsson. Little flick pass again. Gee, we've seen some great skills here this afternoon in terms of those few flick passes that have actually led to tries. They're not done without any awareness at all by any means. They're not flick and hope. They've got a fair idea, and they then got the skill to be able to flick it. Let's have a look at it as Reynoldsson goes through. Look at the change of direction and the power in the legs. The flick out the back, the call would have been there. Jake Webster has to snatch at it to get it because it was flicked fairly firmly. But give credit to the players there for their ability. The defence not so good. But Reynoldsson changing direction, showing strength in the upper body, and then when being confronted by the last line of defence, flicked it to that man to finish it off. So North's really going on with the job here now, and the Comets defence found very wanting. Marty Turner will end up with a sore toe if he keeps this up, or if North's keep this up. He keeps knocking him down the middle, so he won't mind if his instep is a bit sore after the game. 32 points to 8. They've put on 18 points in this second half.
Yeah, Reynoldson's on fire in this game. He's got the experience of last year's grand final campaign under his belt, and he's really going on with a beautiful football. Good backing up from Webster, who's been involved in a couple of tries.
Get out of there quicker, mate.
And Terry Madison was mentioning that he thinks he's got the balance right.
Time that run.
At the end of last year, with a few injuries, he had too many young players in his side, but with the blend of experience and youth in this team, they can stay on the paddock injury-free. They're going to be dangerous this year.
Well, here he goes again, Kirk Reynoldsson. I was just thinking as well, Warren, that when we've seen him play for the Broncos, he certainly has stood up to NRL level as well, hasn't he? He's played well with them.
I think he got a few runs with the Broncos, didn't he?
He did,
That's
yes.
right. And but very impressive at the end of last year with Toowoomba, and equally so today.
Fellas, adjust.
North end with that penalty will take the tap.
You've got to get off.
10 short of the halfway line. Now they can set themselves up again.
We've got 25 minutes to go in this match. The way Norths are running, if the Comets don't get their act into gear, we're going to have an absolute cricket score.
I'll tell you what, I think Kirk Reynoldsson wants to play for the Storm. He's letting them know very early that he's available for selection.
He's looked in great form today in all facets of the game.
There goes Cameron Smith again. He's having a pretty effective game too. The hooker, he scored 2 tries, stays on his feet, plays the ball quickly, and that all helps too. And now, is there any way for Cooper Cronk to find a runner? The defence up pretty quickly. Cronk himself, I think, taking the tackle in the end. Marty Turner, what can he scheme? Turner again, and inside, trying to keep that ball alive. It looked like Reddy, I think it was Peter Reddy, joining in the back line, but the Comets coming up with that ball after Reddy just was a desperation attempt, I think, to keep the ball alive, and Miller Davui takes it out.
Yeah, I don't think Terry Madison would be too happy with what was a fairly lackadaisical play there. There didn't seem to be the go for the jugular from North there. They just seemed to be going through the motions, and sure, they ran it on the last tackle, but there didn't seem to be a huge amount of intent. They meekly surrendered possession. Now the Comets.
Good pass out of dummy half.
Well, they're going to get caught for a basic error here, trying to get a flat ruck going.
You almost feel like saying to Rob Alexander, I'll let that one go.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, give them a bit of a go.
David, do you think the Comets should have run with the wind in the first half?
Probably the touching.
The way they're playing, Warren, I don't think it would have mattered.
We'll have a look at it anyway tonight on our TV.
But my belief is, as we've discussed before, I think you go with the wind in the first half, certainly if you're underdog. Norths again from the scrum. Let's see if they really put some purpose into their play in this set of 6. First 2 plays haven't been destructive by any means. Marty Turner, I like the way he's gone to the line. That's Glenn Turner. Marty Turner again, that first man receiving. Oh, Reynoldsson couldn't handle that one. It was a hard ball onto his chest. Couldn't handle. And North just dropping a little bit in intensity.
An interesting change out there for the Comets. I was just looking at Namila Davui, who I thought was very exciting last year in the match the Comets played against South. He's been on the wing today, has not seen the ball in attack. I don't remember him running with the ball in attack, and I was thinking, well, he had to go looking for it. Well, he's going to find it now. He's been put into the second row, and on the wing, we've got Sion Tonga, the 17-year-old from Cherbourg, who they've got big wraps on.
Here he goes, Warren.
There he is. That's Tonga now.
Come over, number 6. Come over.
And he's going to get a defender penalised here. Cooper Cronk is the one who's going to get called over.
Annoy me a little bit. I know you're trying to get the biggest advantage you can, but it's starting to get a bit persistent. So people who are persistent offenders, we have another step, Matty, that we can take with them, okay? We'll start falling in the line.
Look at it. The fancy footwork here of Sione Tonga was brought to an abrupt halt with a high-ish tackle. They've got huge wraps on this young kid. His brother is already setting them alight down there at Parramatta. As Barsley makes the break. He's got some pace too, finds it out on the outside. Turning back there is Rothery, I think. Here's a chance for the Comets to go on the attack. If they bring it wide, they're a good, even better chance. Fickling, long pass out to Doonerman. He's the man who wants to keep it alive. Dummy there by Benson. Pops it up to the kid in Tonga. He can't get through. Only the third tackle. They don't need to panic. Benson there at dummy half, goes down the blind side. Goodwin, can he get his third? No. It's dropped a couple of metres short. They're right in the corner now. It's going to be hard to attack from here. Up there to Tonga. Out there to the big fellow in Devui. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence, North. They're a bit short on the left. They could go right out the far side. They turn it back anyway. Rothery in the middle. Kept it alive. Here's the chance on the left. Fickling little grub and kick. It's still alive. North get back just in time through Tony Gould to save the day.
Well, Tony Gould has scored a couple of tries for North, and he's just saved one then because they were under the hammer. It was a good little kick from Marty Turner too, behind the defences, but it was well covered by Tony Gould to save the day. Reynoldson taking the ball out. Warren mentioned about Namila Devui moving from the wing into the second row. He's got that Wendell Saylor look about him, hasn't he? And Wendell, of course, often did that for the Broncos. Move into the forwards and make use of the fact that he is a big man.
Well, we'll have to see if he can tackle as well in that second row role, but they were obviously getting tired, the Comets forward. They were forced to do a lot of tackling, were starting to miss, so they needed something to inject a bit of life into them.
Wade Rothery. Good work there by Billy Slater. Getting right up quickly, pressuring the fullback and then making an effective tackle. Room to move for Tonga. Not too much room, no.
He doesn't need much either, does he?
No,
he's good on his feet.
He steps beautifully, doesn't he? Goodwin's been impressive as well, and Warren seeing a Goodwin in the centres would bring back old times for you.
Good old Teddy. Yes, last heard of refereeing, which I could never believe, but he was a fantastic player for Australia and the clubs that he played for, St George and West.
There's an irony in that, isn't there?
Well, at least he got to know the referees pretty well in his playing career, so they must have impressed him. Little kick over the top by Doonerman, beautifully taken by Reddy, Peter Reddy. So 15 short of halfway, Reddy will play the ball.
You had to admire the way he attacked that ball, Reddy, because had he allowed it to bounce, Rothery was steaming through. It could have gone anywhere.
Cameron Smith. Now across the halfway, maybe. Yes. John Flynn. Well, it's actually Brendan Curry taking that ball across that halfway. Now good quick hands. And Cameron Smith again. Cooper Cronk to play it. That was a tough pass there for Marty Turner, but he did well to come away with it. Reddy gets it away to Faturia, and now kept alive to Slater. Billy Slater, oh, good work. Tigerish defence from Tonga. So not only does he step pretty well, he's not going to let him get away all that easily. Marty Turner, it's off the side of the boot, but it's a pretty good kick and well taken by Dean Rothery under some pressure too.
Yeah, nice work from Rothery. That was always going to be an awkward ball. As Barsley again makes a half break. They show they've got some great attack, the Comets. Fickling also with a good scurrying run. But the defence certainly has let them down on a number of occasions. Doonerman turns it back on the inside to Johnson. 5th and last. They've been unable to get out of their own territory, so they're going to have to kick against the breeze. Little grubber kick doesn't get through the line. Played out as well. 6 to go. Well, that's a bonus for the Comets. They can get a back-to-back set of 6. It was with, he's lost that ball. Devui, he didn't have good ball control.
Stripped out.
Although he's going to get the benefit of the doubt, or more than that, he's going to get a decision that says it was stripped. see there, Glenn Turner certainly had his hand on the ball, and I think that's a fair decision.
Right near the line.
Now can the Comets do what they do best, and that's attack from close to the try line and come up with a try. Settler there from Johnson. Carlos at dummy half. They go the same way. With the big fellow in Dylan. Second tackle. Push up. With a V shape either side of the ruck. Dummy run there by Carlos. Nice work. Dummy run by the little dummy half come hooker. He's an ex-half-back. He goes across, shows the ball back on the inside, drags it back to himself, and sets off for the try line.
And they deserved this too, the Comets. They've worked their way down there. It was a good penalty goal kick across against the breeze, and Walton Carlos, fine individual effort. Close to the line, saw there was a chance, came up with a dummy and then got low. And when you're going low to the ground, it can be pretty hard to stop. And he's brought up his 100 points for the Comets. So that try making it 102 points now for Walton Carlos as he lines up his own conversion.
Has a good look around like a good dummy half will. Spots a bit of a deficiency near the posts, and with the player coming back on the inside, the defender's just in two minds, and Carlos alert to take advantage of the hesitation, and he's now going to try and convert his own try from right in front, which shouldn't be a problem. Get the score back to 32-14, and an indication of the strength of the breeze is difficulty even setting them on the kicking tees. And again, coming off the tee. Dare I say, in that close-up of Walton Carlos, that there might be just the start of a cauliflower ear coming on there, Jerry. Fancy halfbacks turning hookers and ending up with their looks being changed.
Well, how do you think their mothers would feel? They probably love them as a halfback, and then they find them packing down that horrible-looking scrum. Conversion successful, and it's 32-14.
Good effort by Walton Carlos, but the Central Comets have shown a bit of spark in attack in the last few minutes after really being battered by the big North forwards into submission through the middle section of this second half. But there's Walton Carlos out of dummy half, through the dummy on the inside. Just found a little bit of space on the edge of the ruck, and the dummy was enough to open it up even further as the defence was in two minds. And good play by the smart hooker. But yeah, look, last week the Central Comets beat Logan at home for the Comets up there in Rocky, 40 points to 16. It was a good start to the season. It was looking ominous in this game in the last few minutes, but they seem to be coming back and they're making a fist of it now.
Not gone in goal.
Not quite though, not gone in goal there by Terry Benson. So it's a goal line dropout, and North have the chance to answer immediately. And for Terry Benson, you had to feel for him then. And Ian Duneman, he might get this back. Well done, Ian Duneman.
Great thinking from Duneman, one of the best thinkers in the game. A howling gale into his face, and North weren't alert enough to watch that. We can see the coaches now ringing a few extra interchanges. It wasn't so long ago. It was about 4 and 5 interchanges, so you can see that they start to ring them as we get past this halfway point of the second half.
Max Johnson playing the ball. He goes Duneman again. That was excellent work to regather that ball. Mark Pickling. Duneman. Benson trying the kick is going to go out on the full. So the kicking game is not working today at all for the Comets.
Not only was it a poor kick, I'm not sure. Certainly wasn't the last tackle by him. It would have been about the fourth.
I've got 10.
Plus he had plenty of time to think about where he was kicking it as well. Whether it just didn't, it came off the side of the boot or whatever, but not a good result for Terry Benson.
Have been some excellent moments from Ian Duneman today. He's quick between the ears, isn't he? That time moment back where he just kicked short from the 22. Another time they got the penalty and he came up, took the tap, caught the North players with their backs to him. He's been very smart on occasions.
Wade Fenton did well to offload. Smith.
3. Here we are.
It's the third tackle, and they're 30 metres out, the Devils, and they're ready to attack again.
4. Let's go. Be just behind the line. Just behind it.
Vituria trying some room on the blind side there. Oh, does well to keep it alive, but nobody was ready for it. Marty Turner, good pick up. And now a chance out wide. Here goes Turner. Offload then to the centre, Webster, and he scored. Jake Webster goes over for number 2. And the North Devils are in again all too quickly. A reply to the Comets try. And now it's 36-14.
Yeah, pretty sharp play this from Norse when they went into the middle of the ruck here. I think it was Vituria who went down the blind side initially, and some good evasive work allowed the ball to clear. That's Glenn Turner. Nice little face ball out there to Webster, and Jake Webster's looked pretty sharp today as well. Running in traffic, he's pretty solid in the upper body there, Jake Webster, and a good build for a centre, and assuming he's got some genuine pace. Now this is Vituria here. Have a look at this for some evasion. Brushes away from a couple, gets around it there for by a couple more, and they're able to pop that ball away. It went out the back, but realising opportunities on the outside, Turner through the hands there of Cooper Cronk. And nice work there from Glenn Turner to brush away a defender, and Webster coming from that little bit deeper had a lot more pace than the attack line and the defence line, allowed him to just slip by them because he came from slightly deeper and was at full pace as he did so. So Norse snuffing out that mini comeback there from the Comets. And Marty Turner trying to add some more points, and I think he's done it. Beautiful work from Turner with the breeze, but it still takes a good timing.
It was the kick out on the full from the Comets that snuffed out their comeback, and North, as they have all day, they're full of running, very evasive. That's great work by Vituria. One setter does well on the left-hand side. Through the hands, Marty Turner knew they had the overlap out there. Cronk quickly onto Turner. The fend shoves one away, and hasn't Webster looked quick? So there he is, the right-hand centre. Webster finishes it off, and they've looked very sharp, Norths. Sharp in the backs, powerful in the forwards. They look to be a force this year again.
Benson with a kick-off. Ready. Peter ready. Change of direction, but no way through there either. North well and truly on top now into the last 10 minutes of the game. And they have looked the dominant team. And here goes Marty, Glenn Turner, and he's played very well for North today. Up almost to the halfway. Marty Turner. Cronk, a good pass. Carried forward well there by Makio. Jumping in a dummy half, JP Cherry, and he's made a great bust, Cherry too. Oh, the pass to Vituria was knocked down. So what do we rule here? He's really been knocked on by North.
Nice work from Doonerman to come across and cover defence. He was the one who dislodged the ball. Just a change of direction there, throwing the arm out and in an attempted tackle. So loose head and feet will go, I think, to the Comets.
Number 3, are they all back there with a touch, Judge?
Rates,
you back with a touchy?
About 2/3 for the Devils, and about the same for Central. So it hasn't, I guess that's about average. A couple of simple turnovers, which both coaches will be disappointed with. I think a feature, Warren, though, of this Central Queensland side, they get some great crowds at home, don't they? 3,000 people on a Saturday night. It's a great social occasion up there in Rocky as they show some good attack again. The young fella, Tonga, has he got the pace and the ability to set up, throws a pass to himself. And no, he even gets it away to Goodwin. Nice work from the young kid. Now can they capitalise on what's been a very good break? DeVuey, long pass this time out to Wade Rothery. Wade Rothery throws the dummy, then offloads out to Doonerman. Doonerman stands and pops it to Barsley. He's been threatening all day. Keeps it alive, back there nicely, I think, to Chaffers. He's just been brought down short. That's the 4th tackle. Doonerman looks to the left. He's going to go there. No, throws the dummy. Flicks it out the back. Desperation. Back this time to Benson. Good defence from North to stem the tide. Last tackle. Long pass, this one out to Wade Rothery. Picks it up nicely on the bounce, goes himself, Rothery, and loses it forward. So good defence in the end by North. Good attack, though, from the Comets to go from one end of the field to the other. But, Warren, I was just going to say that they've got a great reputation at home, the Comets. They need to bring that sort of resolve away from home.
Well, that's right. They're always going to be hard to beat at home in front of that crowd, but it is that much harder when you're a travelling team, unlike most in this competition. I suppose the young guns have to deal with the travel as well, unlike most of the Brisbane clubs. But yeah, they have to win their, at least a handful of games away from home to move up the ladder. At least if you can be a team that's very hard to beat at home, it can be a formidable sight for any opposition team coming to Rocky.
Wade Rothery sending that pass to Dean Rothery. Can the Comets take it straight back down? Then he's away again, Barsley. So good work by the backs from the Comets to get that ball and regather so much ground. Sheffers has been pretty impressive today, stripping the pass away. Dean Rothery. Duneman. Johnson. Max Johnson across the halfway. Good run by Johnson. Oh, tried to slip the over-the-top pass, but Gavin Duffy pinched it for North.
Well, they're certainly a crowd-pleasing side, the Comets. You could never criticise them for being doer. They certainly prepare to throw in. As North are at this passage of play too, but they've got the benefit of a substantial lead. Marty Turner again to the line. Up there to Makio. That's the third. Finally played it. Turner to the line again, but Duneman reads that pretty well, but was only able to get a hand there, not able to grab it.
And if he had have grabbed it, he was in the clear. He would have been looking for Tonga, I'd reckon.
Yes, and I'd reckon Tonga might have ended up right beside him too, because the kid's got some pace.
One thing Duneman has done, he's not the quickest player, but he continually backs up and circles around looking to be the link man. He's done that on a number of occasions to provide that extra support player to get the ball wide.
And I'd like to see in the remaining 5 minutes Tonga get some room actually to see just what he can do. And again, fantastic run by Glenn Turner. The errors, the Comets have committed 13 as opposed to North's 9. So it's not a huge difference there.
Missed tackles will be telling.
North's very close again. Nice offload. No way through, though, for Brendan Curry. But there you can see he is very close. And a try. Smith over. No, he's held up.
Held up. Smith was going for his third. His first two were pretty easy. Oh, no.
That was Gould. And Gould was going for his third. So Tony Gould slipping in there to be a dummy half.
They did well to hold him up here because Gould appeared to be doing everything right in terms of going low. With that low, he had his nose on the ground, but they did well to get hands underneath there to save the day. It'll still be loose head and feed the Devils, so they're in a threatening position. Another little set piece from the base of the scrum. The Turner boys match up. Glenn DeMarty. Glenn now in the dummy half. Pretty flat play this. I don't think they'll get much out of this, although that's a good brushing run. He gets across the face of the ruck, and that'll give the defence a lot of trouble to hold on this next one. Beautiful pass up there to Futuria, and then Slater. No forward pass either. So beautiful quick hands to take advantage of the original crossfield run. The defence was always going to find it hard to keep coming, and North do well to finish in the corner.
Well, nothing looks better than the ball really slipping through the hands and creating numbers and creating space, and that's exactly what they did there. Tonga committed to the man inside, left his opposing winger alone, and Billy Slater unopposed after that very good pass from Futuria. Billy Slater scoring his first try of the season. 42-14 now in favour of the Devils. 3 minutes to go in the match. There we see that good slick hands. Cooper Cronk to Futuria, and finished off by Billy Slater.
Yeah, probably have when you're a young kid like young Tonga is you're probably not as confident to order players around the park. He would have realised he was in a spot of bother on this side, being outnumbered, and an experienced player would demand others come across to help him out. Instead, he was left covering two players. Probably had no option there that close to the line to go to the inside man and try and cut the pass off. But Futuria didn't have much time to just flick it on. He did it very nicely.
This kick's going to be an interesting one. Kick's going to be an interesting one to see the strength of the breeze kicking right across it here, Marty Turner.
He's aiming outside the corner post, Warren, I think, to try and allow for this kick. have a look at it. And he's got it! What a kick! What a kick from Turner. Great angles he's worked out there. So he'd be pretty good on the golf course. Nice work from Marty Turner. He has had a field day with the beat.
The longer the game goes, the more impressive the Devils are. Through the hands of Cronk Vituria, Slater finishes it off. Before that, there was a strong run from, I think it was Trent McKeough. A very strong, bustling run from the second rower. So they're doing everything right here, Norths. That combination, strong forwards, smart backs, looking good.
And they've got the points out of the game. So 2 wins from 2 games for North. That's the way they would have liked to start the season. And that's good work by the Comets to get that ball back from the kickoff. Dean Rothery was the man who followed the kickoff through, went high, got the ball back, and now they get a penalty. So there's not much time left, but let's see if the Comets can score a try. Rex Gamble. That much closer now. Ian Doonerman. Rui. Second tackle, Goodwin in a dummy half. Plenty of men standing just off the ruck as it goes to Doonerman. Dillon set on his back, but again Doonerman backing around. Oh, almost lost there. It was lost by Stu Cheffers trying to hold on to the ball, but eventually the knock-on coming from the Comets first. There were a couple of them, but the scrum will be North's feed on their own 20, and I'd say we won't see too much addition to the score right now at 44-14 because we're in the final minute.
Pretty impressive, Jerry, by the Devils today. They've looked quite workmanlike, haven't they?
Or settled 2 or whatever it is.
And obviously
feed out, Connor.
The acquisition of Kirk Reynoldson and Marty Turner being in good form, and Glenn Turner's had a terrific game today for the Devils as well.
Keep going back. You're on.
And still they keep it going. Nice darting run here by Gavin Duffy. Gavin Duffy's a pretty well-known jockey. Marty Turner again. Glenn Turner. And a turnover. Cheffers, Stu Cheffers. I wonder if he might be a part of the run-on team next week because he's been very effective coming from the bench for the Comets. Rex Gamble or Dylan Rado. Now the kick over the top coming from Matthew Griffin. And well taken out from the in-goal area by Billy Slater. And Slater might be able to score his second successive try in pretty quick time. Looking on the inside for the support play. He might be able to accelerate now, and Ian Doonerman across in cover has pulled him to ground. And that is it. So full time, and North have come out winners 44 points to 14. They made good use of the wind in the second half. All round they were too strong for the Comets. And so they are victorious by 44 points to 14. And really, the start by North to this season, I mentioned that Terry Madison has to be pretty pleased with them. And certainly the Comets, well, their first win, but it was their first win was good at home, but they've realised just how tough it can be, especially against teams like North. And certainly one of the outstanding players for North was Kirk Reynoldson. He's the man of the match, and he's with Warren Boland.
Kirk, you've come across from Toowoomba to the Devils. You've got to be happy. Partnership with Wade Fender looked very strong today.
Yeah, it's good, mate. The young fellas come through, and we had a mixed time with the trials that were coming together now, started around, so it's good, mate.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Terry Madison was coaching you at Toowoomba. Now you found him at the Devils.
Yeah, mate, he can't stay away from me. No, he's good. He's a good boxer. He's a good team man. He really knows how to bring the team together, and that's what I like about him. And that's why I come over for the opportunity, mate. Yeah.
A grand final last year, and of course some runs with the Broncos. You'll be looking for a grand final with North and some runs with the Storm.
Yeah, mate, that's the plan. That's the big plan. I'm still a young man, so I know I look 43, but yeah, that's the plan, mate. Hopefully through the year can get some good opportunities.
All the best, Kirk. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Warren.
Kirk Reynolds, he really did have a tremendous game, and you wonder whether we might see him wearing the Melbourne Storm jersey as well by the end of this year. The statistics for the full time, 8 tries to 4 it was in the end to North over the Comets, and there the penalties were fairly even. Possession certainly favoured the Devils, and the amount of time spent in their own half, only 38%, so that was a telling factor. The completion rates 27 from 39 as opposed to 20 from 34. Both teams ended up doing a similar amount of tackling, but the missed tackles, that is another telling statistic there. 25 missed tackles for the Comets as opposed to a much less for the North Devils. So the North Devils can go and celebrate 2 wins from 2 games so far in the Queensland Cup this year. They played very good football today, and of course after that win they can look forward to maybe plenty more. Maybe this year will be a bit better than last year. Next week should be a fantastic game. Redcliffe against Toowoomba and Dolphin. Join us for that.
Welcome back to ABC Sports coverage of international bowls. We're at the Pakuranga Bowls Club in Auckland, New Zealand.
Australia, hope you're enjoying this match as part of Seven's coverage of the Australian Open from Melbourne Park.
But Jen, you've played big matches yourself under difficult circumstances, and you've coached US teams, Fed Cup and Olympics. It'd be pretty hard to know what to say to Venus Williams if you could sit next to her on the sidelines on the change of ends.
Well, I'm very big on health, so if she were playing Fed Cup, I probably would tell her not to play, even if it meant we might lose. This Hunter can play. She's really a player, Gary, and we're going to see a lot more of her. She's only 18.
Venus Williams on the scoreboard, but it's 4-1, Hunter Cobra, 2 breaks.
Seven's broadcast of the Olympic Winter Games will be brought to you by Subaru.
Introducing Venus from Gillette, the first razor designed to make you feel like a goddess. Protective cushions surround 3 blades for the closest shave ever in just 1 stroke. So close, your skin stays smoother, longer. And that's something all goddesses are entitled to. Now, individually sealed blades are easier to store and easy to change. Venus, reveal the goddess in you.
I asked Billie Jean King what your advice would have been, and you answered in a Fed Cup captaincy capacity. If you'd been asked this morning about Venus Williams, if she'd said to you, what will I do, will I play or will I not play today?
Well, first I would have asked her how she's feeling and how her knee feels. But if she could play like at 95%, I would have told her not to play. wrong word that I would have told her not to play. I would have suggested sweetly, because these players really do have a mind of their own, which is what makes them such great players. And Venus particularly is very independent. So obviously she wanted to be out here.
Thank you, Bogle. Number 30. Jane 30.
The impressive thing about Hantakova is the mindset. She's obviously come out here determined to ignore whatever might be ailing Venus Williams. And up to the eyes, then she knew she made it.
Well, she knows she's playing an injured player. And the worst thing you want to do is have unforced errors against someone who's injured. You want to make them play.
Well, she certainly made a play.
I love the way Hantakova plays. She is terrific, Gary. I really haven't had a good chance to watch her. This is the first time. And she is very strong on both the forehand and backhand side. Her serve is nice. She's got the type of serve that over the years can get better and better. Take a good look at her, because she's going to be around for a while. And she wants to be #1 in the world.
Oh, that's just a great rally, and it took a great shot from Williams to finish it. Ball so low, just skimming the net.
Yeah, Williams is very flexible off her backhand. She can hit that slice like that one or toss it in.
Second chance for Williams to get one break back. Now she's got point now to go to 5-1. Venus has had 4 break points in all, 2 in the second game, 2 in this game, and hasn't converted 1 yet. Kova's had 2 chances, converted both.
Mashahova and Nigel Sears spent the month of December in South Africa